Yo, 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 this your boy Ben from consciousazine, yo. Anyway, just fucking joking, mate. Alright guys, look, I reckon that this picture is backward, just like most of you. Yeah, I think society's backward and most of you hug your society, so I'll stick with that comment, thanks. Anyway, so, look how it's written. This is the final detoxification stage where people live only off liquids, either juices or just plain water. And, breatharianism is, not consuming any physical food because they're liars. No one's doing this. Don't be so gullible. Um, Even the guy in the cave drinking his own pee, except if you're Prahad Jani. Allegedly he does it, but see, that's allegedly. Yeah, he's been tested and stuff, for 10 days and this and that. I want to see constant monitoring before I believe it. Anyway, so look, it's basically showing you that you go this way. Because look at this statement. This is the final detoxification stage. So it's kind of showing you, they think, whoever made this liveloveraw.com, insinuating that it goes this way. That we start here and we end there, which is kind of basically correct because, we have all started here. Because I don't know if you've noticed the health shops, they're not exactly all equipped. I don't even find the same products in the same health shops. I heard over where I'm going with South America, there's no hemp seeds in the Uruguayan health shop where I'm about to go, even though it's a hemp shop. And even though the country is about to legalize marijuana trading, and look, every time I go to a shop here in Australia, they don't always have the Yogi Nectar, the best kombucha brand here because it's raw kombucha, and so on. And like there was one at Lennox, a health shop that had a raw SCOBY actually in a little jar, and they were selling it that way. And that's the only place I saw that one. So my point is, yeah, we are basically starting here, and I get the whole picture and etc. But look, here's what I want to say to you today. Here's how I eat. These are grids of experientiality. These are grids. Grid 1, grid 2, They're grids. So how I eat is I'm base. My first base, my fundamental underpinning is breatharianism. What's that mean? Well, it means I eat light. It means I do kundalini, chi, prana, and so on. And I do it yogically. I stretch when I breathe, I pressure point. I'm working with meridians, mudras, mantras, and so on. And this is eating light. Thoughts are made of light as well. So when I'm mudraing, I consider it part of this breatharianism grid. When I'm doing a mudra, which is a hand movement, the way you put your hand to allow the breath through the body, you might say, if you don't know what a mudra is. So it's basically the meditative lifestyle. Point being that you don't just rigidly go at the end of the day and meditate for 20 minutes. Shit, yes, I do that. And longer. But, some days I don't meditate rigidly like this. And most of the time, in fact, it's not just in a constant routine. Because life's different every day, and definitely if you don't work in a corporate job, that can be said. Listen, if you work in a corporate job, you might have only but one choice to do it at the end of the day. And you're doing it quite rigidly. And that's fine. That's your life. But here's what I'm trying to say is, this is my fundamental underpinning. So I can be anywhere and do momentary meditation. It doesn't have to be at the end of the day, 20 minutes exactly, in this rigid fashion. So that's my whole idea. Breatharianism is my underpinning. I'm sitting here at uni on the computer. I might just suddenly, out of nowhere, randomly go, oh, I feel pain. I'm going to close my eyes and meditate. I'm going to breathe this certain yin-yang breath. Now I'm going to reverse yin-yang breathe for 5 minutes, and then I'll get back to studying. It might be that I suddenly hold my hands in a weird position and everyone looking at me thinks I'm a weirdo and I start breathing weird. It might be that I start, putting my hand on my forehead and saying, Mother Kundalini, I forgive them all, and start doing mantras. So the point is, I do different things every day. It's not I go at the end of the day and I do the same routine. All the time I'm looking for new routines. I'm the amalgam man who lives across the grids. So now let's go into, so I feel I've explained this well enough. So this is your fundamental base. Actually, what I'm saying is it goes this way. It goes from right to left. I get what they've done in the picture and how it goes left to right, but now I'm trying to put something else forth for you guys. So this is how I think we actually should live. This is my fundamental underpinning. This can happen at any time. Then there's this liquiditarian part. This is definitely my base. I drink, now it's said, there's all these charts. Drink this much if you weigh this much. Drink that much water. Don't forget that, for instance, distilled water, because water in general, and so hence obviously pure water, especially, drags and touches things and drags minerals out of our body. It definitely happens because water has memory. And how do you think it gets that memory? By attaching to other molecules. So it's exactly the same as the fifth dimensional living light layer of physical creation, of down-dimensional creation in multi-dimensionality, which is our reality. So the fifth dimensional light takes on the seventh dimensional tunnel harmonics and mathematics and the sixth dimensional infinite grid archetypes and so on, and the eighth dimensional schematics, and the ninth dimensional time wave. So this is the way our reality works. And it's the same with water. It's a fifth dimensional correlate. It grabs onto things. You can time it, you can vortex it, you can put energies into it. It can channel different energies when you put it in a different shape, container, etc. And you can taste this when you put water in plastic leaches, and same with a tin. You can taste the difference in the water. That's because water takes on memory, guys. Okay? So the point here is with the liquiditarian thing, don't just be rigid yet again. Don't live this rigid lifestyle. Okay, I weigh 110 lb, I must have this much water. No, feel this thing out. It's a generalization, those charts. We're not generalizations, we're individuals. So you've got to feel this stuff out for your own body. So the way I approach liquiditarianism, because I know someone's going to ask me, so what I do is, for instance, right now I'm drinking a goji berry moringa tea. Oh my God, is this a blessing, by the way? Goji berry and moringa powder. Unbelievable. It looks like shit, but it tastes awesome. It's really sweet, yet you got the moringa base there, which isn't so sweet, but it's the gojis, you put like 2 handfuls in or something, you'll overpower any bad taste of moringa. Moringa has a sort of neutral taste. Anyway, this is an awesome drink I just discovered, and I can't believe I've been missing this my whole life. So here's how I approach it. I had that for the last 2 days, this moringa goji berry tea. Before that, I had a pear juice. It was a biodynamic pear juice. Last week, that pear juice was an apple and pear juice biodynamic mix. So here's how I do it. I do it differently. I do it differently. So this is how I approach my health as an individual, and noticing that every day is different, and so that I don't get stuck in patterns, because you've heard the well-known saying, too much of anything is a bad thing, everything in moderation. I really hold to that. To be, I really hold to the unrigid saying. Nice one. Anyway, for anyone who got that one. I really try to attach a little bit to that. Moron. Anyway, let me get back on track. I cracked myself up. So how I approach liquiditarianism is like that. Now, I definitely reckon that, I might not even drink a litre of water a day because I had half a litre of coconut water and I feel so hydrated. This is how I began in the liquiditarianism domain. I began by reading those charts. I'm going to have that much water. When, okay, I'm drinking this much, so that's more than the chart anyway. That's how I started. I was actually drinking more than my weight said on the chart that I was instructed to drink per water content daily and per my weight. So what happened was I started realizing, how come I can drink all this water and I still don't feel hydrated? Well, the years went past and I researched more and I found out more information. And then I learned about how things like the electrolytes keep and hold the moisture in your body. It's like salt, remember, sucks up water. So when you drink coconut water and it's got a good little sodium content, just perfect, it holds the hydration, the hydrogen atoms in your body more. And the water can just slip straight through. And that's why it's a good idea sometimes you drink those aloe vera drinks and you'll notice you're pretty hydrated. Because the aloe vera is this mucilaginous thing, and it's the same with chia seeds in your water. Add a little bit of chia seeds and lemon in your water and you'll notice this as well, that the hydration sort of holds in there in your body more. You don't even need to drink as much. Now, be careful with lemonizing your water that you don't put too much in because then you'll get thirsty. So you've got to get it just right, just a little smidgen of lemon to alkalize it, and it helps hold it in your body, and lemon citric acid is compacted hydrogen anyway. Hydrogen means, in German, generator of water. Hydrogen, or generator of water, of hydro. So anyway, I also learnt that antioxidants, and the whole antioxidative effect in the body of electron doning, is accompanied often, I read, by hydrogen atoms going with that electron that's being donated. So that's very interesting. So the hydrogen does play a role in antioxidation too. I mean, this is kind of intuitive when you think about it, but it was good to see that written up by the professionals, so to speak, the scientists. So this is how I approach my liquiditarianism. I'm never drinking the same, really. I'm always trying new things to see what's best for my body, because every body is different. And, it's not just about drinking 2 litres of water a day and then you're hydrated. That's my point, and now I'm going to move on. Monofruitarianism. How would I approach this? Well, to me, this is really quite a cleanse. There's a video on the internet called Shamans of the Amazon, and one of the shamans said that he was instructed by his father to eat bananas for 1 year if he wanted to become a shaman. And he didn't say why, but I figured this out by myself because it's raising his vibration and it's a cleanse. But definitely, if you're eating just B vitamin rich bananas from the jungle over there, you can imagine they'd be pretty good bananas. Not like a lot of bananas here in the West. I worked on a banana farm and they spray all over. There's spray for in the flower before it even goes to the bananas. There's spray for the base of the banana tree for the beetles. There's a burrowing beetle that they have to get rid of. There's a spray that I was spraying, glyphosate and Roundup, stuff like that. So they're sprayed to the shithouse. They're not a good product, really, the banana that turns up in the supermarket. It's not the way I think we should be eating. Mass-produced food in general is not the way I think we should be eating. Anyway, back to monofruitarianism. So that shaman in that video, Shamans of the Amazon, on YouTube, he ate those bananas, and I'm sure that was to raise his vibration, and it gives you better vision. You start to see more in your third eye more clearly, like your actual visions of otherworldly figures and angels and so on. You'll actually start to see them sort of more vividly. Why? Well, because you've got less toxins, which stuff up the refraction indices of light between the cells. And so you can see that these 3 grids are very connected. Because the same happens with liquidarian. It really cleanses you out and it brings you closer to that. So yes, there is this going left to right, but I'm trying to explain it from how we should begin eating. First, you begin with that as your base kind of thing, and then this is your second base. It's the thing you do second most often. Let me just repeat that because I really want to lay emphasis on that. On my style here, going right to left. This is what you do most often, next often, and a little bit less, 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 less. So that's what I'm trying to get across. So that's how you might do monofruitarianism if you've got a specific ailment you're trying to treat, or if you're trying to clear out like that to become a shaman or something like that. You're not meant to just live like this. You'll crash, you'll get anemia. I know a meditation instructor who recently was flying so high, she got anemia because she just didn't think she had to eat. She was eating grapes all the time. Remember, that's just a lot of sugar often. We don't have that quality grapes around. A lot of it's just a sugary grape that's seedless, so it's infertile as well. And it's just like a little sugar packet that's going to inflame your yeast and your mold and your fungus, which zaps your energy, which makes you lightheaded, and it leads to things like anemia, the lack of iron in the body. Anyway, let's move on to fruitarianism. So just multi-fruits. Great. You know, this is the base of your smoothies. Berries in every smoothie for antioxidation, for sure. Not every smoothie, but you know, I do it often. I'm always trying to throw a few berries in there. You know, so monofruitarianism is a little bit different to multiple fruits, obviously, because you're getting different nutrients. I don't really have to explain this grid too much, I feel. Here they say that this grid consists of some eat nuts and seeds. So you can see other foods are starting to come in. So then you got the raw vegans, the people I have a real issue with. Yeah, listen, I have an issue with you guys because you're telling people that this is the only way up the Ascension Mountain, when, hey, we've got all these other grids here as well, just to quickly quip and show you. But hey, look, you're saying that raw veganism is the only way, and that's, you know, that's all there is. That's what most vegans act like. Even if they're not saying it, you're subconsciously acting like it. So I hope you're aware of your subconscious, because you're hurting people. That's why I've got a problem and a bone to pick, so to speak, with the vegans at the moment. Because a lot of people are coming to me as a healer. They're like, oh, I'm vegan this, I'm vegan that. Oh, I've got this problem, I've got that problem. And I'm like, well, maybe that's connected to you being vegan. And I have to show them how. Again, anemia can come in. Another major thing you see with vegans is that the whole death camp look. They're super skinny, bones protruding, skin's not looking good, and so on. And that's largely due to them not getting their saturated fats in, and monounsaturated, but the good saturated fats like coconut oil. So if you're a raw vegan, start having a mouthful every day, or, you know, I avoid routine, but most days. You'll get sick of it. Remember, we build resistances to things. You might do it every day for 2 months and then get over it. Have a break for a month and do it again. So start every morning having a spoon of coconut oil, a big tablespoon of it. Have some sweet potato. These things will build you up. You'll become like a Polynesian in no time. So the reason, to reiterate, the reason I've got a problem with the raw vegans at the moment, and just the vegans in general, you get into nuances, like you can't eat a lot of stuff when you're vegan. One example is beans. You have to cook beans. I like beans occasionally. I like hummus. That's got beans in it. You need to cook beans. So if you're really a raw vegan, you can't even have that. And look how much of life, of reality, of our time here on earth that you're just going, no, sorry, I won't experience that. I just can't live like that personally. That's all. Maybe you can and you're enjoying it. I bet you it won't last. Come back to me in 30 years and tell me how you've gone. 40, 50, 100 years later of being just a raw vegan, I have my doubts. Let's move on. Pescatarian / vegetarian. I've put pescatarians eat fish and vegetarians together because some people call themselves vegetarian if they eat fish. That's right, a lot of people are very unconscious of their own behaviour. They also eat dairy, eggs, tofu, basically all but meat. I'd agree. I see that a lot too, a lot of vegetarians eating animal products and sort of not admitting it or not realising it. You know, eggs, that's from an animal. Now, firstly, before we go even further into that, I'd like to say with vegetarianism, there's an old argument that we shouldn't eat meat because it has hands and legs and can talk, the animals, and because they can feel and sense. However, we now know that plants interact in a multitude of ways to feel, see. They're sensing oscillations, they're releasing smells, like the lima bean is releasing a smell to, when it gets eaten, to call in a wasp, which lays its eggs in the grubs that are eating it. That's a pretty intelligent plant, if you ask me. Something's going on there where it knows, oh, this is the exact smell that wasp needs, that'll come and help us. Mimosa. We all know the mimosa plant, when you touch that little mimosa and it curls up. Plants definitely feel. Western Australian researchers from a university over there in Western Australia in the last few years have found that cabbages, the humble cabbage, yes, so in other words we can see this spreading across the board now, right, of all plants. If you've got any kind of third eye, you should right now be able to see that. It's not just mimosa, it's not just lima beans, even the humble cabbage and lettuce. They click, they make little noises to the lettuce next door, their friend lettuce right next to them, who are, by the way, sharing nutrition under the ground. Maybe humans can take an example, some humans. So these lettuces and cabbages make a clicking sound to warn their friend, the cabbage next door, their friend, hey, this bug's eating me, click, 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 this bug's eating me, click, click, click. So, look, there's more. We can go further into how they feel oscillations. Plants have pores, just like our skin pores, which is a sensing mechanism. So listen, just because a plant doesn't have arms and legs, you really need to get out of that old school view that it isn't alive or something, or that it can't feel you as it's eating, as you're eating it. So if you think, oh, you're so ethical for eating plants and not animals, you've got a screw loose, buddy. You're not all there, consciously speaking. So let's go to the last grid. This is the thing we should do least often. Sometimes I crash into this sort of food. Not exactly what's on the screen there, a Big Mac and nachos. But hey, I'll enjoy a nachos now and then, for sure. Put some beans on it. Can't do that if you're vegan. Or raw vegan, sorry. So, sometimes you crash land and it's not a bad thing. I think life is ascending and descending. We are not just ascending. And that's what everyone's trying to do with this whole move from left to right on this diagram. Go, oh, I'm ascending, I'm ascending, I'm ascending, breatharian. And suddenly they're a breatharian and it doesn't last long and they crash back down somewhere. So, I just want everyone to realize that before you get into this. So I don't know what I'll call this video because I just started shooting this randomly because I remember this picture. So, I think that life is ascending and descending and that, we crash land into this. I've heard someone say that eating meat is grounding. That's what I'm trying to say, that we land back into body. You want to have great visions and stuff, you stick down this end for a while. You do that for a month. You have barely anything but some fruit, some liquid, and some breathing. You do a little bit of raw veganism that month. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those grids are your month. But then you're going to need to come back up here. Maybe for the whole next month, maybe just for the next week after that month. But the point is, you don't just stay in breatharianism or liquidarianism or monofruitarianism or veganism. Just because you're in the middle of the chart doesn't mean that you're not erroneous and that you're not doing it wrong and that you're not stuck in one grid. So this is an excellent picture to show visually grids of experience. So yeah, sometimes we land into this omnivore place or grid of experience. So, I'd say not the fizzy drinks, you're not eating just wheat and definitely not refined sugar and stuff like that. But you might have some chicken, you might have a burger. Oh my God, the blasphemy. Look, I think people are taking eating meat out of context. I totally understand the whole ethics, and I think it is indeed our Kantian duty ethic. Immanuel Kant was a guy who brought the world duty ethics. So I read about that in one of my subjects at university. Now, I think it is our Kantian duty ethic to stop the mass production and the slaughter of all the animals, like all these pig farms with those pink lakes of, seedy waste product, their piss and shit, that's being sprayed into the air. What if you don't know about that stuff? Have a look into that. That's just grotty. And there's like 2,000 farms just in one state in America. These pig farms. They spray their feces in the air. So it's affecting you. It's going up into the air columns. It might be landing in your nose and you have no idea. So this is not a world we want to create, a world like that. So yes, we have a Kantian duty ethic, obviously, to stop the mass production farming of animals, for sure, because it's producing some serious pain in the conscious grids of Earth. And so it's producing pain that you will experience unconsciously or subconsciously. Not only if you eat it, you can avoid it and you're still going to experience the pain via the conscious grids. You might be a breatharianism person and you'll still experience mass farming's pain in the conscious grid, subconsciously most likely. Very often people are not very conscious these days. That being said, let the light of consciousness of self-consciousness be with you, my friends. Let the force be with you. I am Benjamin Kallenberg from consciousazine.com. And I thought this wouldn't be a complete video if I didn't show my face. So here's a picture from pretty recently, a year ago. There's me. And I'm the site creator of Consciousazine. There's my page. And I'm throwing multi-dimensional light on you.